I'm Kamaya, the social media digital journalist for Smoke Signals, and today is Thursday, July 23rd, and I am in the Grand Ronde Tribal Governance Center, where we just finished the 2026 Tribal Council Candidates Forum. The candidates came up and spoke to me after the forum to answer how it went for them, and if there were any questions they were not asked, and to give their response. Here are their answers.
Slahayam, I'm Valeria Atanasio, and I'm running for Grand Ronde Tribal Council 2026, and I am excited to be here just after the candidate forum.
Great, and how did the candidate forum go for you tonight?
I felt it went really good. There were some really good questions, which I appreciate, and honestly, every question was different. That shows that our members are engaged, they're listening, and they're paying attention to what our council is doing, and they want change.
Amazing. And was there any questions that you were not asked tonight that you wish you were, and what would your answer be to them?
Yeah, I think that one of the questions that was asked around tribal sovereignty and some of the ideas around how to protect that and how to work on those relations, I didn't get a chance to answer, but I absolutely plan to answer and do some responses on my own, because we've been taking notes of all the questions here tonight. But for me, you know, that is some of my background in actually tribal affairs work, and I was in a position where I served all 9 tribes here in Oregon, really walking that line of like what, you know, true consultation looks like, what does tribal sovereignty mean, and how does each tribe define that, and how is it legally defined. There's so many things that go into it, but I believe that I have a strong understanding of what that means and what we need to protect.
Matthew Haller. I think that it went absolutely amazing. I purposely didn't take a lot of notes. The only thing that I wrote down on my notes was all of the boards that I'm actively sitting on. I wanted to go without pre-written statements or like essays, so I could go from my heart and it would just be real. There were areas where I felt like I could have answered more if I wrote things down, but it was authentic, and that's what I was going for.
And was there any questions tonight that you were not asked that you wish you were, and what response would you give to them?
There were quite a few, but I wasn't prepared for this at this time. I wrote down a list, and actually I plan to answer those later, so I don't have all of the questions with me right now. I just kind of walked up and started this interview.
And where can people find your answers if they want to?
You can reach out to me anytime you want, and I have a tribal council page that is Matthew Haller Tribal Council, and I plan on posting a lot of those on there.
My name is Denise Harvey.
And how did the candidates forum go for you tonight?
It was good. It's just I wanted to answer all the questions, so I kind of wish, hopefully I can even suggest that we get a little more time at closing, because that would give us the opportunity to do that. I will say, I think the one question that I really wanted to answer was the fact when they talk about people coming up to the podium and asking questions and talking about people lying. There's, you know, is it the member that's lying? Is it the council that's lying? Is it the program or department person, employee that's lying? See, that never gets answered unless, you know, it elevates into a different level. So I have seen that many times over the year, and that's why I really want people to, when council members make a decision, then own your decision and explain why you made that decision. Whether it was a good or bad, you own it. You have to own your decisions. So I think that's the only probably area that I wished I could have talked a little more about.
My last question was there any questions that you weren't asked that you wanted to be asked, and what was your answer? Is there anything else you wanted to add? Kind of already answered that.
Yeah, you know, the loan program, the general welfare. I worked a lot on general welfare back in the days. I was so grateful when Michael Langley came on, because he was one that kind of took that and carried it on and carried it forward. And granted, it ended up back on me in the end. But just having council members that really want to do the work. I know there's questions about the I and the we and the us. There's a lot of things, like I probably were on the national issues and getting legislation and regulations changed. I worked more with the employees on that. It wasn't the council that was engaging or working with me on that. I often would ask for input and suggestions, and usually it was my employees that responded back that I could carry to the front of the line to make those changes occur. So having a council that's really willing to step in and really do the work is what I'm looking for. We had that a few years ago. I don't think we have that now, but I'm hoping to come back and we can get that started again.
Hello, I am Pamela Warren Chase.
And how did the candidate forum go for you tonight?
I thought it went well. It was nice having the extra questions this time. I think last year we only got like 3 apiece, so I liked having the 4. But they were some tough questions. That was thankfully I didn't get any real tough ones. Although there are a couple of them that I got that was difficult for me to respond to because I haven't been on council. So and I would have needed to have that information. But I'll tell you. I'm more than happy to get the answers to that. So.
Were there any questions you were not asked tonight that you wish you were asked, and what would your answer be to it?
Well, I'm curious as to the questions that got left in the bowl. You know?
Okay, there's some left over.
Yeah, there was some left over. So I am curious. I mean, those people took the time to submit those questions, and I think that they were important to them. So I would like to know what those questions were, and if we have the opportunity to answer them on our own, I think that would be. One thing one of Matt's questions was about nepotism, and I agreed with him wholeheartedly on that. In a tribal setting, you're related to everybody, and I agree with him when he says take the name out of it. Take the name out of the equation and look at the facts, look at the situation, and the name should be irrelevant. So, and I absolutely support that.
I'm Chris Bailey. I am a tribal member running for Grand Ronde Tribal Council.
And how did the candidates forum go for you tonight?
I think everybody up there always feels like they did worse than they wanted to. I'm no exception, but I've had people tell me that they appreciated my answers and they appreciate that I seem to be talking from both my heart and my head. So.
Good. And there were lots of questions tonight, but were there any questions that you were not asked, or a question that you were not asked that you wish you were, and what would your answer be?
The free and independent press thing, that's been coming up a lot, and I wish I could have talked about that a little bit. That's been a question for people, for me personally, because I think comments I made in the past, I don't think completely encompassed how I truly feel about it. Similar to what Pam talked about, she had issues. She had concerns about how free smoke signals could be when they're in the governance center or employees. I can agree with that. That's something I've been saying in a while. There's a lot of we talk about that. I think a solution to that could potentially be a endowment fund that would separate them from the regular council budget, and they could operate off of that, and then that gives them another step towards freedom. Moving smoke signals out of governance could be something that's interesting, where they have one office, like a satellite office in governance, just like we embedded it within any government. They have a press office, but their staff are able to work in a free situation. Again, it'd be talking with the staff and talking with the editorial board and trying to determine how best to get this. But that'd be a question that has come up a lot, and I think that's a good question. I think that was a question that I could have answered pretty easy.
Hi, I'm Lisa Lino.
And how did the candidates forum go for you tonight?
I felt like this is one of the most attended forums that I've been a part of, and I thought the questions were just so thoughtful and really, even myself who's been on for 9 years, they really gave me some pause to think about the answers and gave me some ideas about things we need to work on. So I learned a lot from it, and it was really great to hear from all the other candidates. So.
Yeah, and were there any questions that you were not asked tonight that you wish you were, and what would your answer be?
Not necessarily any questions that weren't asked. I don't think. The one thing I do think that was very evident from this conversation is that our members want to be engaged, and I love that. That's something that I felt has been missing for a while, and I'm just super excited to feel that engagement, that energy around doing us all coming together to do the work for our people. So it was awesome.